my place, and I am welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of York Region Sunday service. My name is Reverend Pat Ball, and I'm your platform facilitator for today. Please remember to turn off your microphones and videos until the end of the service because this is being taped. And if you suddenly make a noise, you will be on the tape. So I suggest that you just allow yourself to just enjoy the service. And that way also, you can sing out loud as you want to, because nobody will be hearing you. We're so glad you're here. So today's speaker is Eric Hellman. He is a new face for us here at Unity of York Region, but well known to me because he's a regular speaker at Unity of White Rock. Eric is a communications and change coach. He's past director of the Center for Spirituality and Work and co-founder of the world's first blue box recycling program. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. And he lives in the Vancouver area. But enough about me. I'm going to let Eric introduce himself.
Good morning. I'm Eric. I'd really like to thank Reverend Pat for the opportunity to be with you today. And I also have a confession to make. I'm about 4,000 kilometers away at the moment on the edge of Stanley Park in Vancouver. And while I'd like to be with you in Newmarket, live and in person, I know because of COVID, we wouldn't be able to do that anyway. So I take this as a real opportunity to drop by. I'm no stranger to Southern Ontario. I've lived there for about half my life. I used to work and live in Richmond Hill. I've often driven the back roads of York Region, particularly loving the country up a little west of Newmarket and Highway 9 and Dufferin and Bathurst. Close friends in King City, and I've spent time in all parts of the region, so I'm no stranger to it, and think of you as I'm speaking now. I also understand that there may be people from Barrie who are watching this, and I've spent some great time around there too, eating ice cream in the old Lakeview Dairy on the north side of Lake Simcoe, skiing in Mount St. Louis and Horseshoe Valley, and time around Collingwood, Wasaga Beach, and the beautiful area of Georgian Bay. And I've also heard that there may be some Monktonians viewing this video. And while I haven't spent long in Moncton, I was there briefly in 1968, so I can appreciate Magnetic Hill and the tidal bore on the Petitcodiac. And I also have a very close place in my heart for Moncton. Chokes me up a bit, in fact, to say it. My sister was helped by the doctors and nurses of the Dr. Georges L. Dumont University Hospital when she was on the edge of death about 5 years ago. So I still have her in my life, and I'm very grateful to all of you out there. Today is about faith. Not a bad subject after talking about my sister's condition. And it's not normally a word that I've used much in my life, but as I've explored it and prepared for this talk, I realize I've used it throughout my life. And that's really what this talk will be about, is how faith impacts all our lives, whether we know it or not. So let me take a moment and switch to the PowerPoint and begin the talk.
Well, you're going to have to wait a bit before you hear Eric's talk on faith. Right now, I invite you to sing along with Sue Riley, Right Where I Belong.
Look at this glorious morning. Why ask for anything more? I follow where my heart leads. Walk through this open door. I've always been a seeker, felt I was alone. strong. This is where eyes meet, where kindred hearts beat. I am right where I belong. Whoa, whoa. Here in this place I'm accepted. I'm welcome just as I am. I'm ready to be inspired, to reach out a helping hand. This is a new beginning. I trust in the mystery. Now that my heart is open, there's no place I'd rather be. This is where joy lives. This is where love is. This is a place where I am strong. This is where eyes meet, where kindred hearts beat. I am right where I belong. This is where joy lives. This is where love is. This is a place where I am strong. This is where eyes meet, where kindred hearts beat. I am right where I belong. Whoa, whoa. I am right where I belong. Whoa, whoa. I am right where I belong.
And you certainly are right where you belong. With the rest of us here, let's take a moment and close our eyes and invoke the consciousness of the presence of God in and through us, everywhere present, knowing there is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, in our lives, God the good, omnipotent. And so I turn within and feel that presence in me. I invite you to do the same. To feel the tingling in our hands and our feet, knowing that is God energy, breathing us, beating our hearts, living us. For life is eternal. And so we bless all spiritual communities and gatherings today and throughout the week, knowing that there are many names for God, many faces for God, many paths to realizing our God consciousness, but it's all the same God, that one power, that one presence. And so as we participate in this service today, in this gathering, our hearts are open, our minds are open, and we are ready to receive. And so it is. Amen. Unity of York Region is a member of Unity Worldwide Ministries. And so we all share the same vision, which is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And we are sharing this spiritual awakening, especially since COVID forced us to go digital and to be everywhere, having people from everywhere come to join us in these services. And we are definitely awakening spiritually. And what is ours to do here at Unity of York Region? Let's say it together. We are a vibrant, thriving spiritual community serving the world by embodying unity principles of higher consciousness. And that comes together in our affirmation. God is, I am, we are together transforming the world. The word for today is prosperity. And the affirmation is I claim prosperity now. Carol Misko from Unity of Barrie Study Group is going to share it with us right now.
Good morning. This daily word today, prosperity, is inspired by Psalm 36:8. They feast on the abundance of your house, and you give them drink from the river of your delights. When I feel tempted to wish for a more prosperous life, I remember my prosperity begins at the level of my thinking. I focus my thoughts on the many blessings already in my life and feel grateful. From this place of gratitude, it becomes easy to notice more and more blessings all around me. This awareness helps me develop an attitude of prosperity. I tend to my thoughts of prosperity as though they are flowers in a garden. I plant them in good soil and nurture them with water and sunshine. This rich environment allows prospering ideas to take root and grow. As I nurture these ideas, I am abundantly blessed in life, health, and joy. The affirmation, I claim prosperity now. Together, I claim prosperity now. One more time. I claim prosperity now.
Thank you, Carol. We certainly are prosperous. And if you would like to read the daily word, just send an email or a text to Vesna. Just reply to the email blast and say that you would like to be put on the daily word reading list. We'd love to have you share yourselves with us at that time. During the month of January, the entire Canadian movement is blessing 2 specific centers. And guess what? Ta-da! Us. Isn't that cool? And also Unity Spiritual Center in Ottawa. So they will all be affirming prosperity, peace, and harmony for us. Can you just feel that connection in your heart across the Canadian platform? The Canadian, it's not what I want to say. Can't think of the word. You know what I mean. Across Canada, we are blessed as we bless others. We also here at Unity of York Region have a prayer chaplain team, which also includes some of the prayer chaplains from Unity of Barrie. And so if you would like one-on-one prayer, please either contact the email on the screen, which you can sort of see, contact@unityyorkregion.com, or the 1-800 number, and one of us will get back to you. If you would like immediate prayer, you can always call Silent Unity, 1-800 NOW PRAY. Now let's listen as don't just listen, sing along, as Sue Riley teaches us, entreats us to learn how to fly.
Standing at the edge of the life I know, afraid to step forward, can't see what's below. I've come so far to the top of this hill, don't want to go backward, I refuse to stand still. Faith is knowing I've gotta keep going when life isn't flowing and I don't know why. Wanna keep growing, can't just sit here and cry. Taking the leap, I'm gonna learn how to fly. Thought life was a lesson, like being in school, where I would be safe if I played by the rules. In the blink of an eye, the whole world can change till nothing's familiar, no sure thing remains. Faith is knowing I've gotta keep going when life isn't flowing, and I don't know why. Wanna keep going, can't just sit here and cry. Taking the leap, I'm gonna learn how to fly. I'm through playing small, I want so much more. No fear at all, I'm ready to soar. Faith is knowing I've gotta keep going when life isn't flowing, and I don't know why. Wanna keep growing, can't just sit here and cry. Taking the leap, I'm gonna learn how to fly. Faith is knowing I've gotta keep going when life isn't flowing, and I don't know why. Wanna keep growing, can't just sit here and cry. Taking the leap, I'm gonna learn how to fly. Taking the leap, gonna learn how to fly. Taking the leap, I'm gonna learn how to fly.
I think that's a new one, and I think she's written it since the pandemic started. Yeah, the blink of an eye, things can change, have they not, eh? So let's see what's up and coming here at York Region. The Eye of the Storm class, the Thursday night class. We had our first class last night, but if you want to join, please, the Zoom link will be there. I would advise you to, there was a little mix-up last week because it's not your usual Thursday night class Zoom link, because I'm teaching it, and so I'm using my Zoom account and a different Zoom link. So please make sure that you use the Zoom link that is in the email that comes out on Thursday, okay? Not the regular one. And next week, Jackie Clark is our speaker, and she's going to be talking about taking a prayer break. We all need to do that, don't we? Now, let's listen to Karen Drucker inspire us with I Have Faith.
I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith, I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. I have love. I pray love. I choose love. I am love. I have love. I pray love. I choose love. I am love. You are love. We are love. All God's children are love. You are love. We are love. All God's children are love. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well.
And now the moment you've been waiting for. It's Eric time.
Today's talk I've called, What Will You Have Faith In This Week? For the next 12 months, Unity groups around the world, in fact, will be exploring what's called the 12 powers. And these are the powers of the human mind that the founders of Unity believed were essential for understanding so that we could create better lives and a better world. On the Unity website, it says, we were born with the attributes of the infinite, one of the foundation stones of the belief of Unity Church, and that our life's work is to develop and express them. So where do we go with that? Well, first, let's take a look at those words that identify the 12 powers. And you begin to see them appearing on the screen. You'll see words like wisdom, love, understanding, order, zeal, and life. And today, for January, in fact, the one we're focusing on is faith. Each month we'll focus on a different one of the 12 powers. So what is faith? Well, the word itself comes from the Latin word fides, which means trust, confidence, reliance, and belief. For many people, the word faith is used in the context of believing in God or a higher power. In fact, some people call their religion their faith. For other people, the idea of faith is having belief in something, but without proof. In fact, sometimes belief in the impossible. And when I think of faith being used that way, it feels kind of wishy-washy or esoteric for me. And being a practical guy, I was raised in maths and science. I wanted to explore it from the more practical point of view. In other words, how do we connect our worldly experience and our spiritual understanding? So let's begin. Think about what you already have faith in. And by that I mean those four words: belief, trust, confidence, or reliance. Here may be one of them, a light switch. How many of us turn on and off lights each day? Well, that is a belief that as we hit that switch, something's going to happen. We have a belief in the switch and in the light that it will illuminate and in the electricity that will bring it power. Another core belief that we might have, very simple one, is remote controls. How many of us use that multiple times each day for televisions or something else? Another core belief, computers and the internet, that when we log in, we'll be able to explore the world. Or cell phones that will be able to explore the world and talk to other people. Another simple one is our automobiles. We have faith, trust, and reliance that those are going to take us where we want to go. What other kinds of beliefs do we have? Well, think about this one. Many people take medicines, vitamins, or supplements. If you do, think about what kinds of belief or trust you have of what they'll bring you. Another very important one in our society is this one: belief in money and the power that it has to shape our lives or enable us to have what we want. Or perhaps we have beliefs that we don't have enough. We can have all sorts of beliefs about any of these. What else do you have beliefs about or in? What are your beliefs about science? What are your beliefs about religion? What are your beliefs about people in your life, good or bad? About politics? Our beliefs are fundamental building blocks of our thinking in the world around us. Why do we put our belief or trust in these things? Well, I think it's because they work. What I mean by that is they give us experiences we expect and want. Even if the beliefs are false, we still like the experience we get when we believe in them. And in particular, our belief gets met with the results we want to create in our lives. Or maybe if it's not the ones we want to create, the ones we expect to create. We often think that faith is about this idea: just believe. Has anybody ever said that to you? And how did it feel? Is faith really just about blind faith? Well, I don't think so. For me, faith is about belief, yes, but also those results I was talking about, or what the Bible calls works. In 2 James, here's one quote: "A person is justified by works and not by faith alone." Another quote, similarly: "Faith apart from works is dead." So what I think that writer was getting at is this same idea that blind faith alone isn't sufficient. Somehow we have to have a demonstration or an outcome from our faith and our beliefs. The proof is in the, if you said the word pudding, you're right, and you're probably over 50. It's not a phrase that gets used too often. So but the whole principle is an important one. What I'd like to use instead in this case is Grandma's apple pie recipe. So if we have faith in or belief in Grandma's apple pie recipe, that's a nice thing to have. It's a pretty looking recipe, sure. But if the results come out like this mishmash of whatever, you might say that that faith is unwarranted or that recipe was no good. That's why the outcome, the results, are so important as a part of faith. Staying with Grandma's apple pie for a moment, for me, faith has these elements. It has hope and intention behind it. Hope that we'll be able to have something delicious for dinner, or that we'll be able to create something lovely for others. Charles Fillmore used the words deep desire behind the faith that he was pointing to. Part of faith, another step in it, is having that belief and trust that I spoke about earlier. Another one is taking appropriate actions. All actions are taken based on some kind of belief that they're going to have an impact. And they need to be appropriate to the situation. If you were trying to make a beautiful pie with a brown crust on top, but you used a blowtorch, might not be quite the most appropriate action. And then the next step is seeing the works, the evidence that your previous steps actually created the result you wanted. I believe faith needs to be practical, what I'll call grounded faith. grounded in the same way that this light switch is designed to have a result, turn on that light, or that this car is designed to work when you put the key in it. Otherwise, why bother to have faith and to take actions if they're not going to create the results that we're looking for? And that really is the foundation for the whole school of unity, developed in the late 1800s by these two people, Myrtle Fillmore and Charles Fillmore, as you've probably heard. They both had diseases or illnesses that were challenging and limiting their lives. And yet through beliefs and practices like being still and listening to the inner wisdom or the divine, they were able to find healing from their serious conditions. And that was why unity was created, because people began to ask, how did you do that? They wanted the same results. And that's the whole foundation, is it's a school, a church, a spiritual movement about taking beliefs, applying them, and getting results. So why did Charles Fillmore say or write these words, that faith is the foundation of the 12 powers? Well, unfortunately, he wasn't answering his phone when I called him, but I began to think about it, and it seemed to me that these statements were true. I think that life is calling us from within to grow, to realize more of what's possible in our lives and in our world. Just like the seeds that sprouted these little shoots had an impulse of life to grow, I think humanity has that same growth impulse, that all of life has that same impulse. Now, here's the catch. To do that kind of growing takes risking and changing. And often those are really uncomfortable for most of us. For me, life is about so many areas of growth. For example, one of the fundamentals is learning. For example, this is my grandnephew, who is a little bit over a year and has just begun to walk over the last couple of months. He had a certain hope to get up and do it, and he accomplished it. Another learning is learning to skate, learning to ride a bicycle, learning to cook, learning so many millions of things that we will in our lifetimes that are the fundamentals to engaging in our lives and society in the way that we want to. Life is about education, a more formal way of learning that embodies a vision of where we'd like to go or what we'd like to do. You can see in this young woman's face, I think, the faith, the seeds of hope of what she would potentially like to do with her future. Another step in life that's been crucial is exploring the world in so many different ways, but these explorers, for me, are just a great example of that. People who wanted to go past the belief of where they were, the limitations of where they were, whether it was a flat earth or the country they lived in, to explore the rest of the world. Now, we don't have so many geographical explorers these days in the same way, but we have explorers in medicine, science, and technology. People, again, who, with a hope that something more is possible and a belief that they can realize how to achieve it, do. And then the one that may be the most toughest sometimes is the exploration of our own lives and of human affairs. It's often not an easy road, is it? Whether it's relationships in a marriage or partnership, whether it's relationships with family or business people or others in society, we know how difficult that can be. We just have to take a look at the United States as a current example of how challenging it is when we have different beliefs to get along. But still, for me, life is about that hope that we can. Faith is what keeps us going through all of these, the idea that it's possible to be better, that things can get better, and the fulfillment of the ideas, practical application of those ideas and seeing results. And that kind of brings me to my story about why I'm even here talking, because I'm not the kind of guy that really should be here. Up to the age of 26, I believed and trusted in math, science, and the environment. Really left brain oriented. I believed in problem solving and judging what was good and bad, right and wrong, and then doing my best to bring those into the world. I thought I was doing a really good work, and in many ways I was. But, and we've all got a but to our story, don't we? I was in deep pain and despair. Deep, deep pain and despair. In spite of doing the best that I could, I was experiencing a lot of problems and deep conflicts in my own life, and I needed help. I tried many things, counseling, psychology, communications courses, etc. But at the age of 26, something new came into my life. It was awareness of something called A Course in Miracles, this book. Well, I had a premonition that I would be doing this course, even though I didn't know what it was. So I opened it up and I was appalled because the language was all religious. It was about God and Jesus and Christ and the Holy Spirit. And I was raised by my father to have absolutely nothing to do with religion, to shun it. So to have to read this book, let alone do it, and it's a book that's to be done, not just read, was really challenging for me. When I got into it, though, what I began to experience was a sense of peace, and therefore I knew I needed to keep going with it. One of the things it taught me was this key idea that I've worked with for the last 40 years. We have two parts in our mind. In other words, the human mind is split. It's split between our loving side and our fearful side. And if you want to demonstrate that, just tune in to your loving side. What do you love in your life? Your cat, your dog, your mate, your job, or not? And therein comes the fearful side and what might be called the non-loving side. Maybe you hate your job, or maybe you don't like where you live, or maybe you're afraid of not having enough money, or maybe you don't think you're good enough in what you do. We have these two sides, and which side we use to guide our choices and actions is fundamental to the world we create. The Course in Miracles taught me how to shift from using my small-minded, ego-minded thinking, my fearful, non-loving side, into my loving, more empowered side. Through daily exercises, I began to practice them. Even though I definitely didn't believe in what I was reading, I was in so much pain that I needed and wanted to try them. And through trying them, I began to experience results. As I said, I began to experience more peace, more happiness. I began to experience that there's something in me that knew more than the other I had been using did. It was like a larger part of myself. And that larger part, deeper awareness, created better results when I listened to the ideas that came up than I had in the past. So I knew that there was some value and relevance to this and importance to my life. Why I've stayed with it for 40 years is exactly the same reason. I have seen results. The first one early on was healing a deeply troubled marriage, my first relationship. We separated as friends. And then a year or two afterwards, I came into a new relationship that, because of the growing that I'd done, was totally different. Simpatico in so many different ways, that we danced together, we in work and in life and in love and in in so many different ways. The things we enjoyed together were very, very powerful, and it showed me the possibility of good relationship. The ideas of A Course in Miracles and Unity helped me to create projects by listening to the ideas that came up. Helped me to create projects that were seemingly impossible. Projects like creating the world's first Blue Box program. Or in a very different vein, when my mother was getting remarried after my father had died, I had no money to go to Australia where she was about to be married. But over applying ideas that had come to me, I was able to create an all expenses paid trip to go down from Toronto to Australia to attend my mother's wedding. An impossible dream realized. Another such dream was a peace project at an international World's Fair where over a period of a month, I created a project where major countries from around the world in their pavilions and 50,000 people stopped for 8 minutes at this World Fair to celebrate and contemplate peace. Another impossible dream. And I say these things not to glorify myself, but just to use them as examples of what became possible because I listened to the different and deeper wisdom inside. What I've come to learn through both belief and experience is that there is something more within us. It's something more that listens to our needs, but also coaches and guides and supports and calms us and also loves us into a larger realm of being human. Charles Fillmore put it this way: faith is confidence in unseen and unrealized powers. What if we were able to tap those unseen and unrealized powers? Now, the challenge comes for many of us in what do we call it? What do we call the source of these powers? Do we call it God or universe or source or the big love, as a friend of mine calls it? My suggestion would be find the word that fits for you and use that word to name it, to call upon it, to draw it in. Whatever word you use, it will still listen and speak back to you. What I've learned is that we can put our faith in our small self, that unloving, limited self that's really just about the human mind and our individualistic condition. It's in the same, we can put faith into our life conditions as they are, that we've created and have been created around us, and into the world as it is. We can put faith in all of those. Or we can put faith into that larger, loving self. A self that I have come to believe is connected with all of life around us, not just limited to our personal selves, but is a shared self, sometimes referred to as the Christ mind or Christ self in Unity teachings. Again, don't get hung up in the words, but consider that there may be a wisdom in us that can help us transform all of those other conditions. Faith, for me, has come to be having a belief and confidence in using affirmations, which is one of the fundamentals of unity. Affirmations, or one from A Course in Miracles that I use often, is I can choose peace instead of this, or I can see this differently. And that by using this regularly throughout the day, it helps me to shift that mind from the fearful, limited perspective that I may have to a more enlarged and loving and empowered way of seeing the world. I have faith now in asking within and listening for wisdom, intuition, guidance, direction about what to do next, what to say, what to do, where to go. I literally use it hundreds of times each day. I then try my best to follow the insights that come from that deeper place because I find them effective, but I also test them to see if they work. And in all of these ideas and applications, for me, it's about coming to walk that same path as the explorers and the inventors of old, to have a deeper idea, to test it, see if it works. And in the process, discovering that I am larger than just that small self of old that saw itself as limited, that more is possible than can meet the eye or the mind. For me, as I bring these things to more conclusion, faith has come to be a knowing that in any situation, I can choose peace inside, whatever's going on. It doesn't mean it's easy, but by focused thought and a deep desire for peace, that's the part of me that begins to engage. And from that place opens up the doorway to the new ideas and to the healing presence that I believe each of us can be in the world. And it opens us up to knowing things, knowing ideas of what we can practically do to heal our lives, our bodies, our relationships, our society, and our world. And isn't this an age in which that is being called for very deeply? I think so. For me, faith and what I've described is really a description of the spiritual journey. A journey from our limited self to our unlimited self, from our fearful, doubting, mistrusting, and limited ways of thinking to much larger ways of being. It's growing into the possibilities that our life presents us or that maybe we haven't even thought of yet, but are possible just as the explorers and inventors of old demonstrated. It's as Jesus said about having life more abundantly, having life more abundantly. And it's not just for us, it's being able to transform our own lives for sure, just as the Fillmores did, but it's also sharing that with others and helping others to transform their lives and together transforming our world. Because in my heart of hearts, that's what I most want, is to see the healing of illnesses that are considered to be impossible to heal, of social conditions that are seen to be insurpassable, and to realize the more of who we are here to be, both inside and in the world around us. So before I do the meditation, I'd like us to listen to a woman named Karen Drucker sing her morning prayer called I Will Surrender.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free, as I continue walking in this mystery. will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am kinder every moment, every day.
So I invite you to take a very gentle and yet deep breath. A breath that just begins to relax and open you up just from the very inside of you. Just feel that breath in and out. Relax back into your chair or whatever you're sitting on. And let the echo of those words resonate inside of you. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good and release any fear that blocks my way. What would it be like to live life that way this week? And take another breath. Feel the cool air coming in. Feel the vibrations in your fingers or your hands or your feet and toes. And invite in the deeper presence of mind. That awareness of the love inside you or the peace that you're seeking. Perhaps you call it God or the Spirit or simply love. And begin to ask yourself, so what is the hope or the desire that I have in my own heart? Is it that I'm seeking desperately to have more peace in my life? Is it that I'd like healing, or perhaps it's prosperity, having more richness and more sufficiency and more money in my life? Is it about having better relationships, or simply a sense of hope in what for many seem to be these dark times? Whatever it is, ask yourself a second question. Am I willing to let it in? Am I willing to grow, to open up to new ideas and new actions that would allow me to have it in my life? Whatever it is, I invite you to step into a holy instant, as A Course in Miracles calls it, to just simply say, I want this. Help me. I don't know what to do. Help me to know. Bring me new ideas about what would you have me do to bring it forward in my life. And just take a few moments in stillness and silence to relax and listen. Now feel your breath again. Say thank you. Even if words or insights didn't come, they will. And as you come back to the room, feelings and sensations in your body, come back to opening up your eyes to the room around you. Put in your heart, if you're willing, that intention that Sue Riley sang about, to learn how to fly, to allow it in later today and the week to come, and keep calling on that higher part of yourself that is very real, to listen, to open, to learn, and to surrender or be willing to have that larger place in you come forward in your life in whatever way you most want. God, Spirit, greater love, thank you for this day. Amen.
Oh, wow. Eric, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was so wonderful. You just covered it all. And I love the practical suggestions that you have for how to realize what you have faith in and how to have faith in the things that you want to create the outcome that you want. That is so true, so true. We are so blessed that you're here, and I know you'll be staying around after the service to chat with us on Zoom. Thanks. Well, now it's time for our conscious giving, knowing that we are a self-supporting ministry, 100% funded by the generous love offerings from you, from us. This is our community. And so for us to have wonderful speakers and music and all the different marketing that we are having to spread this message, just know that your financial contribution to this ministry allows us to inspire and support one another and all those who join us now and in the future, and learn about us through our marketing, through all the different platforms that we're using. We are blessed. And so if you want to send to support your spiritual community, you can either e-transfer directly from your bank. You can go to our website and look for the button that says donate. You can send us a check. And all the information to do this is in the weekly email blast that you get when you sign up for our newsletter on our webpage, unityofyorkregion.com. Let's say our affirmation together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. God is my source. Thank you, God. Let's listen to Heidi Muller singing My Gift Goes Forth, and just picture it floating wherever it is now to wherever it's going to go.
My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, as the universe says yes, yes, as the universe says yes.
And so the universe is saying yes to us, the unity of York Region. We are abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us, and we accomplish mighty works together. And now, as we draw to a close, let us repeat together the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now we'll close with the peace song, followed by Robin blessing us out with the Go Forth blessing.
That was meant to be, with God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
We are now surrounded and enfolded by the pure white light of Spirit. Nothing but good shall come to us, and only good shall go from us. Go forth in peace, joy, and radiant love. Amen.
Have a blessed week, everyone. And now